So 100,000 women went on strike today in Iceland to demand gender equality. The entire population is 370,000. So over 25% of the population went on strike. And I have some crazy news for you. The economy did not come to a stop, and it continued as normal. The only memo I got was that HR departments were getting no complaints for the 24 hours that the women were on strike. And men were writing that they were really sorry women didn't get gender equality. But I heard one CEO said it was nice to finally get some shit done, end quote.
I personally don't think the top football players in the world should be paid as much as they do. I think it's ridiculous, the amount. The average worker in this country hasn't had a pay rise in over a decade. How is that going to change one another?
I am so tired of women whining. Literally, the men fund our leagues, and we will still whine that we don't get paid enough. When athletes do shit like this, it makes all of us look bad. Because instead of being thankful for the league that we have, we go out and whine and complain about the pay.
I mean, all you can do is blame the fans. But what are you going to say to them? Oh no, you should stop going to the men's league. Support women. No, most people think women's sports suck compared to male sports. That's why the men have way more attention. I guarantee she's part of the problem as well. If I was there, I would have said to her, can you name 10 women athletes off the top of your head? Or women's sports clubs? Guarantee she would not have been able to do it. She did make a good point that the average person hasn't had a pay rise, but that's a separate issue altogether. That's got nothing to do with private companies like football clubs paying their biggest stars a huge salary. It's a competitive market. If they don't do it, well, say it's Ronaldo, he knows his worth, doesn't he? So he's just going to go elsewhere and someone else will pay it. That's how the market works. And also, she wants to complain about the men getting paid so much money, but why do these feminists never complain about women getting about 40-50 million a year just for being a model, when the highest paid male model only gets about 2 million a year?
How dare you?
That's unfair, isn't it? According to her logic, but she doesn't want to complain about that.
So all the women in Iceland decide to go on a strike because they don't get paid enough. In Iceland, where I'm sure they're paid the same as men.
Thousands of women in Iceland took part in a strike to protest against gender discrimination. Shops, banks and schools across the Nordic nation were shut or opened for shorter hours as female staff stayed home. Much of the capital city centre was closed to traffic for a rally held for women taking part in the strike.
So 100,000 women went on strike, which is a third of the population of the country, for 4 whole days. The Prime Minister went on strike. Herself.
Ég hyggst sjálf leggja niður störf til að sýna konum samstöðu því fullu jafnrétti er enn ekki náð á Íslandi. Þó að við stöndum framalega svona í alþjóðlegum samanburði, þá erum við bara enn á þeim stað 2023 og fullu jafnrétti er ekki náð. Við erum enn að takast á við kynbundinn launamun, við erum enn að takast á við kynbundið ofbeldi. Og til að sýna konum á Íslandi samstöðu, þá mun ég leggja niður störf og hef hvatt konur í mínu ráðuneyti og kvár til að gera slíkt hið sama og hvet allar konur og kvár til að gera slíkt hið sama.
So for 4 days, none of the women worked. A third of the entire country, 0% of the female workforce went to work to prove how important women were. Do you know what happened?
Tell me.
Nothing. The roads still worked. The traffic lights still worked. There was still electricity. The police still turned up. The firemen still turned up because the men do the real work. Turns out that they just proved themselves wrong, because if for 4 days all the men didn't go to work, society would crumble instantly. And it's a shame that it is the men which are so vital to society, which are the ones which are permanently demonized.
If they get paid less, then surely companies will just only hire women, because labour is the biggest expense that any company has. So just hire women and you'll save loads of money. But of course, it's not true. That's why whenever they look into the gender pay gap, they always look at the annual income. If you say look at the hourly income, well, they won't do it because it will destroy their argument. Now, this guy said he lived in Iceland for 2 years. He says to say it's a country run by women who victimise themselves without reason would be an understatement. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. The irony is, if Iceland suddenly got attacked, the women would also stay home for days and days until the war was over. And I guarantee you wouldn't hear the men say, there's not enough women helping us fight. I think we're going to go on strike. We'll stay home. Yeah, that wouldn't happen. Like I said, men do not have that luxury.
What do you bring to the table?
I'm not going to answer this question. This is just something that I wouldn't answer in a date. I'm not going to answer here.
Fine.
I'm not going to answer how many books I've read.
What do you expect men to bring to the table?
Integrity, clarity, consistency, strong connection to divinity, emotional availability, emotional maturity.
So what is the female equivalent of that?
The same.
Then why wouldn't you just say that at the table when he asks you?
A massive disparity that nobody's talking about, and it's the fact that OnlyFans girls are getting paid way more than OnlyFans guys. What do you guys think about that?
Not sure what OnlyFans are.
Yeah, what is?
Why lying for?
So you send a little pictures of less and less clothing, and you get a little money for it on the internet. Oof, yeah. All right. Sorry. We're getting any money. Like, we're out here, we're strutting our stuff.
Demand for women and some men to look at is always going to be women.
We all do have the lumps. How do you think we can change that? How do we fix that?
How about we not do OnlyFans?
I'll think about the wage gap.
Obviously, think it's fucking ridiculous.
Do you guys think that the wage gap between men and women on OnlyFans is also ridiculous?
I feel like women work hard for that, though. Yeah, I think so too.
But from what I can understand, using their logic, women are more in demand on OnlyFans, right? So therefore, they get paid more. So let me apply that logic to every other aspect in life that men dominate, like sports, engineering, working on the oil rigs, all them hard jobs. So therefore, they're in more demand, they get paid more. Problem solved. Wage gap solved. Also, shout out to Man vs Street for that video. If you want to go check out his channel or you want to watch the full video, I'll put the link in the description down below.
It's the only thing the U.S. women's soccer team has yet to win: equal pay.
We've filled stadiums, we've broken viewing records, and yet despite all of this, we're still paid less than our male counterparts.
Megan Rapinoe, a star of the team, speaking to Congress on Equal Pay Day.
If it can happen to me, with the brightest light shining on us at all times, it can, and it does, happen to every person who is marginalized by gender.
In the U.S., women on average make 82 cents to every dollar paid to white men. U.S. Women's Soccer sued the U.S. Soccer Federation for equal pay and equal treatment in 2019. They now get better hotels and flights, but a judge dismissed their claim for equal pay. The team is appealing. The Soccer Federation says it's still open to further negotiation.
Yeah, this is straight propaganda, by the way, because before this news article came out, or this news clip came out, the women were actually offered the exact same pay deal as the men, and guess what? They declined it. And then they realized, oh, hold on a minute, that would have been more money for us. So then they started spreading misinformation and saying, oh, we're being discriminated against. No, you had the opportunity, you rejected it, and now you're trying to go around saying, oh, we're not getting treated fairly. And by the way, Megan Rapinoe, probably the most unlikable person there is, openly stated that she thinks that men should be able to play in the female league. Conveniently, as she's now retiring, is complaining about the gender pay gap between two genders. So I'm really confused. So is there only two genders now? Is that what you're saying? Or is that only when you're talking about getting paid?
Why do male porn stars make more money than female porn stars? And how can we close this gender pay gap?
That is news to me because I thought it was the opposite way around. Well, so males make more?
From my understanding, male porn stars don't make very much at all. On a professional set, I will get a higher rate than my male co-star.
So then why does nobody complain about a gender pay gap when female porn stars make more money than male porn stars?
Because we take on more risk. I mean, like, everyone should be. I'm on birth control. You, not to say you should do something with your body that you don't want to do, but we can get pregnant, it's more easy for us to get STDs, and we have to face much more of the stigma. So I think it's fair that we get a little bit more.
What are you looking for?
Oh, my assistant.
You have one?
Two. I have two assistants.
How much do you pay them?
Each?
Yeah.
I think my male assistant I pay 10 grand a month. And my female assistant I pay her 70% of that.
I think we need to move Lonzo.
That ain't no problem.
Huh?
That ain't no problem.
Well, whatever that would be.
Sounds.
So 7 grand
right.
a month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you?
What's that?
10 grand feels expensive.
10 grand a month for my guy assistant, 7 grand for the female assistant because of,
She's obviously worse, right?
No, she's much better.
Okay.
She's actually...
He works less than her?
She works significantly more.
Yeah.
Her output is higher.
Yeah.
Her intelligence level is higher. Her efficiency is higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't make the rules. Joe Biden does, dude. I'm just doing what the press says.
I think that's fair.
Apparently this actually went viral on Instagram and there was a lot of women who thought he was being serious and they was going crazy in the comments. But anyway, that's it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure you like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.